Hi to all and welcome to this space, beloved space that we have with G100 Network, that is our WIN, Global Networking. And what we are doing today, mental self-care and global networking, yes, because we need to innovate, we need to be creative, we need to use the social media on a different way. And this is what we do with G100, this virtual platform founded by Harbin Arora Rai in India and followed by many of us that we are going to bring to the Western these ideas of what means to flow in a chaotic world. It's hard just to figure out how we could do it. And it came from us, from individual action also. It came from the way we respond to that word, the way we act when there is an aggression, when there is violence, what we do. We need peace, and peace came from us. And this is a fact that when we change our attitudes, we change our microenvironment. So that person that is strong enough to take the decision not to follow the way, not to be aggressive, is very courageous, but they need tools to flow with their own. In the same way that when there is an emergency and you are flying, they tell you first the oxygen mask is for you, and then you help others. And that's what we do today with these wonderful leaders, generous, goodwill, leaders of their own networks, book authors, creative women that it's without any profits, without any profit for them, but for us, they are here because they belong to G100 Network, this club that aim to empower to each other. And if it's possible, we would like also to create an impact on societies, because that's the way we thought they have to be done, just from us, from our small network, and then to get to the societies, mobilization of civil society in a new way, in a new shape. But don't think that I'm talking about empowerment on that political way, even if I am a political analysis and not coach on mental health and all of these ladies. But empowerment is not only about creating gender equality policies. Empowerment doesn't mean competition. Empowerment means that you feel the power, you are humble to feel the power, to be there, to take care of yourself and to take responsibility. So please, I would like to introduce you to Anisa Safar, Shira Shetty, Anita Powell, and Peishi Modevi, Switzerland, India, US, and UK. Different cultures, different personalities, but they work on the same, on how to flow. And I could guarantee you that they flow and they make others flow that are close to them, as they are doing today. Anisa, you are very welcome, but you are our lady of the event, our coach of meditation session, our global advisor for global networking, creating this bridge on what is mental health, what is meditation, balance, and at the same time to be there to create networks, because that is also about balance. And before I give you the floor, I would like to pass the floor to you. I would like to just mention 10 points that for me, that I'm ignorant on these issues of how to flow. They were very important. I would like to know what do you think about this? It came from Steve Rose, and they say we have 10 tips to get into mental self-care. There are: connect with others, what we are doing today. Focus on the present. Get clear about your values. Take time to yourself. Focus on what you are grateful for. Physical self-care. Spend time outside. Incorporate physical exercise. Healthy dietary habits. And finally, get quality sleep. That's what we hope it will happen with Shira, that is in India and it's quite late now. So we are going very soon with you, Shira. Thank you for your patience. Anisa, the floor is yours. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Maria, for inviting us to this space. I'm Anisa. I'm a meditation teacher and trauma coach. And we have chosen actually this topic together with Maria, mental self-care, considering what is happening in the world, right? Because we realize when someone has a cold or someone has a broken leg or broken hand, and we do not notify or we do not recognize even in ourselves that there is something that is not going well mentally, right? So the aim that we have in this session and also the next one is to bring awareness of mental self-care and how we can help ourselves and help others.
Thank you so much, Anissa. For those that don't know her, which is not normal, I don't know Anissa. She's our global advisor on health on G100 Global Networking. She's a certified meditation coach, resilient mentor, intuitive mentor, and you may find details on her page on free tree. I will show you right now on free. Yes, Tree of Life Guru. Also, she is an author of books. We have two authors today that are Anissa Safar and Anita Caprice, that we are going to show you details later. Thank you, Anissa. Shira, are you ready?
Yes, absolutely.
Shira Shetty is our dear national chair of G100 Global Networking in India, is founder of Elite Woman, youth empowerment coach, powerhouse motivator, and human capital investor. Yes, and we love to invest on you, Shira, and to be with you, to learn from you. Thank you for your wisdom, your energy, your knowledge, and to share with us. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much, Mar, for the generous introduction, and very good evening, good afternoon to everyone who's joined in for today's session. And thank you so much for having me with these beautiful, women flowing in harmony. I think that's where the word, caught my attention. So beautifully put by Mar. Why all we are here together to discuss about mental health. I think essentially it's the flow, and I think when a woman flows in harmony, so that is where her true essence, and it talks about her core existence. And I'm glad that from India I am able to share my experiences. I think as elite woman, like I put it, elite woman is not somebody who is, not even close to perfection, but I think she's being happy the way she is. Yet at the same time, we all identify, with her, with the, with the synonym, where she's perfectly okay accepting the flaws and the imperfections, because we as women, I think it's very important that we talk about mental health and share more about it. There was a time where we grew up in households, we grew up in environment where even talking about it was a taboo. And I'm glad that we are today in times where in the wake of women empowerment, we are taking mental health as a topic, on such an important platform to talk about, and spreading awareness, of course, with such experts and healers, coaches, book authors, into the forum. It definitely adds value, and it feels to normalize and speak about mental health and the tools and practices, because no two humans will have the same experiences. We are unique in our own way, and that is where I think each one of us has different experiences to share. And I'm glad that my journey of self empowerment enabled me back in my early youth, to take charge of my mental health, because there were, as a woman, there is lot to handle and juggle on our platter. We always feel the need to go beyond, to stretch ourselves. I think while going with the flow, there are many instances, especially when you are a leader and you want so many things to happen, and now with the social media, we are all out there. I think there's this superwoman syndrome I always come across, talking to elite women professionals from different walks of life. Coming from a corporate background where I was part of the human resource team, and I used to work closely with a lot of corporate professionals juggling their careers, managing their work-life balance, not only women but also men. And we see that towards the later part of the career, either they feel the fatigueness or they feel the burnout. And I often used to wonder, until there came a time where for the longest 10 years, I was just hustling. I was being in the rat race to achieve, to set my goals, to set my timelines. And in the process, somewhere, I started realizing, that there is something missing or I'm losing up on something. And that was where I think I realized. I sat and there was this awareness which sank in. And of course, it did take a lot of inner work to go about it, because often we talk about self-care, more about taking breaks, going on short trips, pampering yourselves. But I think it goes more beyond that. It's more about bringing out and expressing yourself, as a woman, as an individual. It's important what you feel and what you need to ask for, that needs to be put across. And that's where I think the feeling of being empowered is really important, to make yourself vulnerable. At the same time, you are not letting that vulnerability being victimized. So you need to have a very I would say, setting your boundaries very clear. And that we all learn with experiences. Not everybody will have the same kind of environment, the same kind of support system. But eventually, when you have these different tools, for me, I think individually it all started when my health started deteriorating. I was trying to juggle too many things on the work front, on the personal front, trying to stretch myself, trying to keep everybody happy. As a younger child in the family, there were a lot of expectations, and after there was this trauma that I needed to grieve, and I had no time to grieve the death of my close member in the family. I think that was when it struck me that yes, I need to take care. I need to be aware about my mental health, because that is something which is, my fourth most right. And that's where I think I started advocating and talking about mental health, though coming from a human capital background where I work closely with the human potential on bringing out, optimizing their potential and productivity at the workplaces. But eventually you understand that we are not machines. We are not programmed, the way machines are programmed. We are all full of human emotions, and that really needs a lot of continuous evolution. There's a lot of inner work, there's a lot of emotional wellness which you need to work upon. And that's what really mental health, for me, it has been. Self-care has been more of setting boundaries, learning to say no. I think that was the biggest challenge, as a woman, as a young woman back in India, where you're trying to juggle with a lot of roles and responsibilities into the family sphere, into the business sphere. You have your own, growth journey. And saying no at times to people, maybe within your network. I think since we all are women who believe in the power of networking, but we cannot be 24/7 available. I think judiciously making those choices. For me, it was mental health and self-care was all about making those choices. And when I used to, encounter or come across women, hearing their stories, whether it was dealing with trauma or dealing with some kind of loss, it often came across that these women were always trying to be, always trying to be perfect in what they were doing. This very concept of being perfect, being superwoman, it at times sets very high expectation bar. And that is where I think we all need to be aware about our strengths, and at the same time about our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, to work upon them, not to hide our flaws or imperfections. But I think it is all about how you choose, how you take the power back within your hands, to take charge of your life, to take charge of your mental well-being. And that's where I think certain modalities which helped me as an effective tool was, one was being aware about what is happening inside rather than seeking that validation outside, which most of us do, you know, at the early stages of our life. We try to seek that external validation in whatever we are doing. So I think for me, it was, first was learning to say no. Second was putting myself out there. And third was amplifying my weaknesses. A lot of times, I was stereotyped, whether it was physical stereotypes, whether it was, with my decisions to take charge of my life. And that was something I learned early in life, that, there's nothing to be ashamed about. You are the way you are. So, I always say every woman is flossom awesome. That is, she's perfectly imperfect with all her imperfections. As long as you accept it, you don't need to go out and prove out to the world. You will be accepted the way you are. But the first and foremost thing is, you need to accept yourself. Whether you are awesome or whether you are full of flaws, you always have the choice to work on yourself. And that's where I think this journey of empowerment took me to a level where I started interacting with the youth during the nature of my work and sessions, where I could empower them on their career front through, of course, mentoring. And the second most important factor was to work on their emotional resilience. Because I think that is an important factor which rules out, that's a very important trait also when we see out in the workplaces. More than the IQ, it is the EQ which really matters now. The kind of workspaces that you hold, the kind of leadership that you're going to be evolving, and the kind of people that you're going to be managing. So at the end of the day, if you are going to be there, with yourself, so I think you cannot be pouring from an empty cup. And that's where the realization daunted and the awareness took the form to take empowered actions towards your own journey. And that came with the sense of awareness that, yes, I need to be taking care of myself first, then I can take care of rest of the things, the people in my life, right? And with that, I think, for me, my entire life experience, or the kind of empowerment journey that I now talk about, or when I look back, has taken me to those three elite mantras of how one can become the best version of themselves. Yes, that is choosing to act, first of all. That's very important. Each one of us, day in, day out, we take so much of information from different sources. But as long as you're not going to choose to act on it, it's not going to be worthwhile. Holding on to the experiences and not letting them go, I think it's very important that you have this power of choices, because ultimately those are the things which are going to be which are going to matter in your life. I always tell the youth and the women that, apply the 5 by 5 rule. If anything that is bothering you, if in the next 5 years it's not, if you think of 5 years ahead, if it is not going to matter you, then you shouldn't be putting more than 5 minutes into your thinking process. And if you think that it is worth, which is going to impact your life, then I think you should definitely take the step and act on it to change. We all know that change is inevitable part of our lives, but I think the transformation is more of a conscious choice. And that's where I believe that each one of us is self-empowered. We have all what it takes within us, but we often look for external validation. So first is choosing to act. Choosing to challenge the status quo is again very important. When you have that awareness, you know that you need to transform. That's where you choose to consciously act and incorporate those changes in your life, in your wellness, whether it is setting boundaries with people, taking a break. All the time we are taught as women that you need to hustle, you need to grind, life is not easy. But I think it's okay. It's okay to sit back. It's okay to recharge yourself, to give that space for yourself where you can just normalize avoiding calls, at a particular day where you feel exhausted. So, you can clearly prioritize your task and you can learn to say no. And lastly, I think it's very important that you choose to lead yourself first, because when you are trying to play different roles in our lives, all the 6 P's of your life, whether it's business, profession, finance, spirituality, it's very important that when you are leading, trying to lead others, it's very important that you first started with yourself. The inner journey has to start within yourself, and that's where every person, every individual, every woman will have to take that charge of her life to feel empowered and then lead everything else around her. So that was again a learning for me, which really helped me. And when I now work with the youth towards building more resilient youth who are more effective, who are more productive in their careers, I think mental health plays a very important role. And last but not the least, choosing to risk your imperfections. I think we all will agree to that, that we all are, striving for excellence. But in that space, we shouldn't be losing our essence. We shouldn't be, shying away from accepting our flaws. And that, if you know how to do it, amplifying your weaknesses while working on your strengths as well, I think that is something will help a lot of generations to become more resilient than we are, and have the space where we can share, where we can ask for help, because asking for help is often seen as a sign of weakness, but for me it has always been a sign of strength. If you're asking for help, if you're reaching out to a counselor, if you're reaching out to a family member, I think if I have a lot of strangers, I have a lot of unknown faces, unseen names, reaching out through Facebook, through LinkedIn, who I don't even possibly have met, over the years. But there's a strange connection which we, share in terms of sharing our experiences. So I think that's the whole essence of, continuously evolving. So for me, mental health is more about making those conscious choices, changing for better. And when you know that you can do better, of course, the next thing is to become, keep growing and keep evolving, and take that empowerment where you enable, people around you to lead them, and take this journey of empowerment to the next level. So I think that's for me, I would share this in a nutshell. And Mar, over to you.
Thank you so much, Shira. As we promised, it would be amazing, isn't it, Shira? Shira also made of the storytelling a change maker, and a turning point of what we are, well, in any debate. So thank you for that, Shira, to bring in your personal aspect. It's so courage from you, and I will try if you allow me to see your thoughts into what is social media. You say learning how to say no, setting boundaries, trying to keep everyone happy. That's so wrong to do that, and we do it all the time, because that is about social media. Is you have to behave in the same that others are doing, and sometimes, and then I will love to listen about that, to hear about your opinions. This passive aggression that is there, and that is beneath, and it is so harmful for your mental health. So this is what I see from a global networking perspective, and this is the bridge from mental health, mental self-care. I would like to show you, this is what is Shira Shetty. If you love what she say, as we all of us do it, this is her, an elite woman. No doubt. Shira, if someone would like to ask you some question, please, ladies, do it very fast, so she could go to sleep. That is late in India.
I would love to stay back for some time and hear the wonderful ladies out here. I am not going to go away so soon.
Okay.
So rest assured, I'll be here for some time.
Thank you so much. Don't feel the pressure, Anissa is having problems, and she's in Switzerland, so it doesn't supposed to have problem, but she is having problems. So let's go with our dearest Anita Caprice. Anita Caprice, that is the book author of Your Own Universe. That is an amazing book that you must read it. I will give you some details before Anita starts, if she allow me to. She is global chair of G100, prison reforms and social reintegration, leader of the movement Tap Into You. And I would like to start an introduction on what is her book, You Your Own Universe, that will open your mind to a new universe, not yours, a new universe that Anita is inviting you to. Anita divides some of the tools that she had. She do it under a 10 body chart, a chart, or 10 points. And on that chart, she divided into physical, into meaning, personal, negative side, suggesting the solfeggio music and a key phrase. And that is, I will invite you to read that. I will just read one, the example number 6, that is physical, arc line, which extend from ear to ear, our halo, indigo, nucleus of our aura, regulates nervous and glandular balance. The meaning is justice, protection, projection, person at prayer, ability to focus. On the negative side, overprotective, easily influenced, mood inconsistencies. Suggesting solfeggio music, 852, H theta, and key phrase, focus and project. Thank you so much for the patience and to let me read this, because I need to do this publicly.
Thank, thank you, Mar. Oh, thank you, Anisha. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Well, first of all, thank you, and oh my gosh, Shira and Anisha, thank you so much for your wonderful, beautiful message, and I'm just excited to be here and inspired. When I was sitting here listening to you, beautiful sisters, I thought of the word flow, and what came to me was freely love ourselves willingly and freely love ourselves willingly. What that means is, like Shira said, to love ourselves unconditionally, to love ourselves wholly, to also to understand that we are human and divine, to freely embrace that, yes, we, within our imperfections, of course, we have the imperfections, but we also have that perfection, and it's okay to say, yes, I am perfect. Within me is perfection. That is freely loving ourselves wholly, and to understand that too, with mental health and physiological health and physical health and emotional health. That is the first universal law uh, uh, of of uh, of the universe, and that is the law of oneness. So that means there is no separation from mental health to physical health to physiological health to relationship health to world health to peace health to love health. It is all one. And for me, it's once we begin to really understand that mental self care means that I love myself willingly, to know that I have shadows. I love myself willingly to know that, yes, there are some times I don't think right, because that is the human part. However, because I'm loving myself wholly and willingly, I know I can tap into. There's a space inside my heart that I can tap into and get that perfection and get that co-creation, because we're co-creators with the universe. That's who we are. That's what we are. We have within us multi dimensions of beautiful power, energy, both he and she, because beautiful is not a gender word. It encompasses the whole dynamics of humanity. Um, for me, to be aware of ourselves, to understand that we are energy, that every single thing is energy, and within that energy there is vibration, there is the measure of our thinking. The measure, is it high, is it low? Because there's low vibration and there's high vibration. Low vibration consists of we can say grief, we can say guilt, and another word for guilt is self-condemnation, if I'm condemning myself for whatever or not approving of myself for whatever, another word for that is unforgiveness. Now we're talking about the layers of our heart. So all of this, every single thing that we do, it is in a oneness state. So our mental health is 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 to be in sync with our emotions, because we talk a lot about our emotions. For me, our emotions is a human thing. Love, hate, the human aspects of love. Love, hate. We have love, hate, but then we have the spiritual, the spirit of us, which is the feeling of the joy and the enlightenment and things like that. Once we connect all of those together and understand within us is that universe, within us, we have the seven laws, the seven major laws. We have that oneness. Whatever I believe, I am one with it. Whether it is for me, whether it is against me, if I believe it, it is my true. I am one with it. And that is you can even say that is my God, because it is what I believe. Then we have within us, we have the law of correspondence. What is up here is going to be affected physiologically within the 10 bodies, the chakras, the major seven, 22 and 121 of them, the kundalini, everything that is within us, that energy. So with whatever is, what is above is below. So what is up here in my thought is going to be reflected in my immediate sphere of influence. So mental health is also, yes, going inside of us, but also looking at our environment, because our environment is going to let us know our mental health. And mental health simply means, okay, how am I thinking? To not minimize it, but to simplify it, because so much is simple. In terms, you have so many divine educators that in their own way they say, keep it simple, sweetheart. Even I say, kiss it. Let's kiss it. Keep it simple, sweetheart. And yes, there is so much light in the darkness. Absolutely. And the darkness is a beautiful thing. Darkness, you cannot have light unless you have darkness. You cannot be enlightened unless you go through a period of unfoldment. That is the experience of life in and of itself. That is a part of mental health too, understanding that those challenges that are before me, that is a lesson, it's a blessing, so that so that we are able to move to the next step. Mental health. That fork in the road, recognizing I put it there. If I put it there, then I have the power to remove it. Then we have the law of the vibration, the highs and the low. If I am thinking on a low vibratory level, thinking, oh, I'm not good enough, or questioning myself, or doubting myself, or thinking the world is 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 I'm in a place where the world isn't good. Well, then what we're doing is, that's a physiological thing, because now we're getting into that, I'm going to call it the vagus nerve, that parasympathetic thing. So that's what I was saying in the beginning. It's not separate. It's not that, like some people say, you're my professional life and my personal life. There is only one. The That's the first universal law. We have the law of polarity, where we look and we see the opposites of things. That's all. That it doesn't make that they are opposite. It depends on how we perceive it, how we're looking at things. That is the energy, and what we have on the inside of us, how we are perceiving, how we are our perception and our perspective, our attitude. What happens is that normally we're going to walk into or create that atmosphere, that environment, that what we what we thought about in the first place. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be an exact replica. What I'm saying is vibratory force, vibratory energy, whether it's high, low, whatever is high or low, we're going to gravitate to that. You know what I mean? So we have that the energy, which within that energy you have the frequency. How often? It's not that, how often are we in this unhealthy mental state, unhealthy physiological state? Because one doesn't happen without the other. It's a round robin thing. The body influences the mind influences the body, the heart influences the soul influences the heart. Nothing touches the spirit. The spirit is just unaffected by all of this. But once we understand that okay, this is a unit here. This is this is a one thing that when we concentrate and focus on and embrace it and saying, hey, within all of me, within all of you, there's this element of we're connected, one, and once we freely love ourselves willingly, wholly, ain't gonna be too many stepping over boundaries. That's gonna be natural. That's gonna be just as innate as breathing. Because once we revere and respect ourselves and each other, because without me there's no you, without you there's no me. Once we revere and respect each other, the boundary there will be no stepping over the boundary because we won't allow it. And the other person won't even think to do it because we're revering and respecting each other. There's the law of rhythm, understanding that within the flow of life, you have ups and downs. We are made of 70 or more percent water. So our emotions that we experience, those feelings that we feel, the tides of life that comes up and down that we experience, once we understand and freely love ourselves willingly, we understand, okay, this position that I see here, the solution within this challenge is in the problem. The problem is how I'm looking at it. So the solution is going to be how I look at it. See how simple that is? With the law the law of rhythm, because life has ups and downs. That life has ups and downs. When we begin to get depressed, when we begin to get fearful, that's why I'm such an advocate of the tap into you movement. My thing is tap into yourself. Like Shira said, we are so external data driven on the outside. We'll go to someone else. Hey, what you think? What you think? What you think? First, before we go within and say, okay, let me center myself. Let me go to the truth, that truth center, which is in our heart, where all of those answers are. Let me take a moment and then believe. That's another component in mental health care, too, is believing. What do I believe in? What do I believe? And then acknowledging that belief isn't working for me. If it's not, because sometimes we get so stuck in our ways, we'd rather stay in the comfort zone of uncomfortable thinking than to do the work to say, hey, you know what? This ain't working. So I need to flip the script. And yes, with that, work comes with it. And then understanding that, oh my gosh, so when I step over that, as Carl Jung, the psychologist Carl Jung said, don't focus on the problem, step over that rascal. Because once we step over it, the problem is not going to be, it won't be for us anymore. It's like a person on drugs. You can put a plate full of desk full of crack on a desk. If a person has overcome that crack cocaine problem, that crack ain't go, it has no influence. It's still there, but what's the difference? The perception now, how we've changed about that. You know what I mean? And recognizing even when knowing the physiological, the psychological, even with our chakras, our body, knowing how our bodies talk with us. Right now, my low back is just, it really is resonating with me, and I understand because I'm willing to love. I'm freely loving myself, willingly to know, hey, kiddo, you have some emotional things going on. To thine own self be true. Listen to it. Listen to it and deal with it or not. Because sometimes we don't always have to, because I might have a problem doesn't mean I have to deal with it right then and there. That does not mean that. That just means I can recognize it. I can recognize it and then I can decide. I can, not society, decide when I need to handle a problem or when or how I need to deal with it. I can decide for myself. I'll take care of, like Gone with the Wind. You know what? I'll deal with it tomorrow. There's nothing wrong with that. So for me, mental health is acknowledging that it is all one. It's a beautiful thing. We have our ups and downs. We have that shadow thinking. Of course we do, because that's the human element. But we also have that divine. That divine. We can make use of our feminine energy. We can make use of our masculine energy when we know who we are, how powerful we are, how co-creative we are. So many ideologies or so many societal norms that we put on ourselves, they, I'm going to say, magically go away. You know, I've learned in my 66 years that you talked, spoke about the hard times. Through the blood, sweat, and tears, I learned it didn't work for me. For years, went through the blood, sweat, and tears and kind of thing. It didn't work for me. I'm grateful that the blood, sweat, and tear moments came in the period of life because it brought me where I am today. But it brought me where I am today so I can share with my brothers and sisters. No, you don't. No, you don't. When you have, there's a saying, when you have faith as little as a, as a mustard seed and do not doubt, when you understand that there are pressures, there are points in life that our path that we have come here to elevate our soul on, when we understand that, that is freely loving ourselves willingly. And that's when our eyes are open, we see what we need to see. We have the strength to learn what we need to learn so that we can share with others. So for me, it's like an easy peasy, nice and breezy, even in the midst of things that we may be experiencing. There is still, and I still sometimes I have to force myself because of something that I am experiencing at this point. But just because I have to force it doesn't mean that it's hard. I learned years ago when I thought I was in a 7 year financial hardship. I learned years later that no, I was blind to what I had because I was so focused on what I didn't have. And those are the things that taught me as far as mental self care, and that's just embracing it, every single part of us, and embracing others because we are all connected. And that's mental self care for me. Was I on mute for a while?
Just a few seconds to listen to solfeggio music
Ah,
852, because that is focus and project, and that's what you have done, Anita, to make us be focused and project of what we can do, what can we control. And with that solfeggio that you suggested, I think it's the best way to end your presentation, that it was absolutely wonderful as always. I would like to focus, and maybe that's a debate now that we are going with Anisa. Loving myself, you say, and you always insist on that, Anita. You find that there is a problem of self-esteem from the individuals, and that is transmitted into a society in a whole. There is no self-esteem, because when you love yourself, there are acts of war that you cannot do it. There are conflicts, there are aggression, hostilities that cannot happen if we love ourselves, we love our societies. But what happens if we enter on selfishness? And that happened in social media, and that happened in global networking in terms of what is relationship. What happened when there is that love, this negative way of love ourselves, when there is selfishness? So maybe Anita would like to answer, or we go directly with Anisa. Maybe you would like also, you have a say, I'm sure, on that. Anita?
oh, sure. Well, one thing, and not everybody may embrace this thought. Um, Anything on the outside of us, the people that are in our lives, it has nothing to do with them. If I'm on social media and I am constantly in the mix of negative, I'm sorry, destructive negative, because not all negative is destructive. If I find myself always in that area, or I'm looking at negative, destructive negative posts and everything, I should take a look at myself and me, because I'm in control of this, my influence, my sphere of influence. So if it's within my space, I brought it. So I, just like earlier when you said, Mara, we have to be responsible for ourselves. So the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take a look at myself. There are times when I may go to a bank and somebody might be really kind of, angry, or whatever. First, you say a prayer for them, or I might meet a claimant that I'm servicing and they have an attitude. I don't jump to, what's wrong with them? The first thing I do is say, uh-oh, what energy? What's going on in here? So I take a look at myself first. And that's what I share in my workshop. I said, it has nothing to do with the other person. They're just my mirror.
Also, I would like, Anisa, before I go to you, please allow me to present this overlay of what Anita have done, and what is, because it's related to what you were saying. No, I think it is good to look at it. No, what is physiological needs, what is psychological needs, or what is self-actualization. To be creative expression. How do we jump from one to the other? How we do to create societies that became creative in itself to find their solutions. And for that, we need to learn, to exchange, to connect, as we are doing here in global networking. In this big ballroom, and you see what we have done for this event, that it was, all of you were very inspired to me. You see this ball that is for dancing, because that's what we have to do. To flow means to dance in the chaos, and try to just to listen to ourselves, our instinct that tell us that have to be positive and helpful to others. Anisa, please go ahead. We are so looking forward to listen to you. Thank you, Anita, as always.
Thank you, Maria, Shiri, and Anita. I just want to mention very shortly, just maybe one practical way, because you have shared a lot, Maria, Shiri, and Anita. You talk about spirit, about mind, soul, heart, loving yourself, and you talk also about the 10 tips, Maria. So you have shared a lot already. I just want to share one tip if you like to start today, the mental health care for yourself. Just one thing. Just make 10 minutes for yourself daily. You can put it on your calendar to be with yourself that 10 minutes. That 10 minutes can be on the bus, on the train, it can be during the lunchtime, it can be before sleeping, just 10 minutes every day. In that 10 minutes, you can dedicate maybe 5 minutes meditation, whatever meditation that you practice, or maybe you can learn a new meditation, mantra meditation, prayers, whatever it is. And then 5 minutes, I invite you to start a journal. Just write to that journal how you are doing, how has been your day, how you are feeling. And at the end, finish that journal with something that you are grateful for. So that is a very practical, let's say, practice that I give also to my clients that they start with. Very easy, 10 minutes per day. Start with 5 minutes short meditation and then dedicate other 5 minutes to write down how has been your day, focusing on your feeling, and then write what are you grateful for. That is my part for today.
Thank you, Anissa.
You're
Fantastic.
welcome.
We are going now with patient Modevi, our dearest patient that have been enough patient to wait until her turn now at the end. Patient Modevi, patient is our G100 London chair for Honest and Wisdom, founder of Authentic Mindset, certified coach, and chief wellness officer. You scare me with that name, chief wellness officer. You know? So our expectation very high on you, my dear patient. As always.
It's meant to put people at ease. But I just wanted before I start the I've had everybody speaking. It's been really inspiring, and I just wanted to come back on quickly a few things. So when Shiria was talking about women in corporates and why do we always have to wait for the burnout? Why do we have to wait for our health to let go? Why do we always have to create go with the unflow, if I can say it like that, when we should just follow our flow? I think the conversation that we're having today is an amazing conversation. Thank you so much, Ma, for creating this event and inviting us, talking about mental health. The more we are sharing from any kind of point of view, the more we are making it a normal and not a taboo. And also, there was another thing I've written here. I've written that our own self-care supports others around us. This is something that when I was listening to everyone talking. And our challenge is, Dr. Anita just said it really brilliantly, like that. I'm in awe of Dr. Anita. She said, challenges are blessings. And often what we try to think about, we need to have this kind of positivity, which can be really not good for us. And actually, we need both. We need the sadness, we need the happy, we need the challenge, we need when everything is in flow, we need all of those together. And that's just what I wanted to say before I begin. So I'm going to share my presentation. That's okay. Review, LinkedIn, share screen, sharing. Okay. All right. I hope you can see it. Can you let me know? Yes.
We are losing. We are losing.
So today, I think what. Oh,
We are having troubles with your to listen to you, patient.
am I back now?
It's quite low. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What about now? Can you see me now?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. So I wanted to talk about this. So first of all, I'm gonna start by giving you a quote. And I think this quote is really fitting to the event today, the fact that we are all under the G100 umbrella and we are coming to support women each for everybody. So anyway, each time a quote stands up for a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. And that's really joined what I was saying about the conversation on mental health. And the more we talk about it, the more it's going to help and support other people around us. All right. So just a quick about me. I'm Patience Modivi. I'm the founder and lifestyle coach, mindset coach as well in Authentic Care. And I created this because I had the same as everybody's host here, all the speakers here. I had the same idea that I wanted to support others to create a better life in themselves. So I've got a little preview here because mental health is not just about just one thing. Mental health is not just about the mental, it's about your body, your mind, your soul, and it's about everything that you put in your life on a daily basis to kind of keep going and make sure that you sustain a great mental health. So here I want to talk to you about the same that Syria was talking about before. I believe that self-care is an act of a rebellion because we are going against the grain. We're going against this nature that wants us to always be hustling and going and doing everything, being the woman who cooks, who looks after the kids, or even goes and have a career, is a provider, is doing everything. And what we really need to do is actually go on the other way and be just who we are. Not necessarily the person who is doing it all, but who we can be as we can be on a daily basis. So in a space and time, what we can be for ourselves. Okay, so I have a little bit of things here that I've put. So how to stand in your power day in and day out. I think first thing is to acknowledge that you are worthy of the best. And that's not really, that's simple to write it, but that's not simple to do. So what can you do to create more of that in your life? I think the more we have this perception of ourselves that is kind of like divine, like Dr. Anita was talking about, the more we are going to seek the best, the more we're going to want to align with things that are going to push us to be our best and to also be around people who have that kind of mentality and perception as well. So cancel what doesn't feel aligned with yourself. So there's a big thing that I have, which is that I teach my client, and it's about decluttering. I believe that it is important that you declutter anything that does not serve you, anything that is not aligned with who you're supposed to be, who your purpose is supposed to be. And it's really important that you put things in your life instead that are going to uplift you and that are going to empower you. I think it's also important to embrace the silence. So often we want the noise, we want the quick, we want to be in. But also being still, you start to listen to yourself. You start to really be at one with yourself and listen to everything that you need. that is going to be taking you onto that path. So to do that, also upgrade your vocabulary and self-taught. So it's really important to create a state of mind that is going to help you to go on your purpose. And also, so when we talk about mental health in general, we talk a lot about depression, we talk about different stage of mental health. But one thing it starts with our thoughts. So the thought that we are fed, the thought that we are fed by society, by our family, by people around us, by the things that are around us and surrounding us, and the fact that we acknowledge them are those actual things that also create and support our mental difficulties and challenges. So in order to create more of a peaceful state, I think it's really important to have to upgrade your vocabulary and yourself. Then open up yourself to new opportunities. I believe that life is an adventure. So every time you are open to have a new adventure, this new adventure will bring new thought processing to you, new opportunities in terms of what you can see your life being, and also allow yourself to dream, which is really important. I think people are such in the day-to-day life. I'm going to work, I'm going to this, I'm going to do this. What about dreaming and dreaming your best life? What is my best life going to be? What am I doing today that is going to bring me more around that? Speak your truth to the universe daily. I think it's really important to not only have those thoughts in your head, but to verbalize the thoughts and to put them to prophetize them on your life, and to give back when you are in a position when you can give back. So supporting your family members, your friends who are maybe not in a good state of mind is really important, and that helps your own mental health as well. So how do we create higher vibration for our body? Here I put a little bit of exercises. I'm going to share the PDF with Ma, so she'll be able to share it with others if they need it to see more of the things. But I give a little bit of details here. So if you can do 5 to 10 minutes stretch before going to bed, this will improve your sleep and relieve your muscle tension. If you can spend 30 minutes in your day to go to either the park, be in the forest or the wood, or even be around water, that's also going to improve the cells in your immune system. And that's going to also fight, tumors and infections. There are so many things, there's so many details here, but I'm not going to go into everything. I'm sure you can read it, but there are so many things that you can put in place, and they don't have to be big things. They could be really small things, really small steps that you can do to create higher vibration for your body. Then, how do we move to the mind? Moving to the mind is by reading uplifting self-book. Here I put 10% Happier by Dan Harris, but You of the Universe from Dr. Anita is an excellent book. I have it myself as well. And those exercise, those settings, the journaling settings, the creativity settings that you will take on there will help you to quiet and to calm your busy mind. You can create positive or soothing music playlist. And this is really important because, like just earlier when Ma was sharing the high frequency audio, it's like when you put yourself into that state where your body is in flow with the music, you start to vibrate higher on another level. Again, there's other exercises here, but I will send the PDF tomorrow. How do you create a higher vibration for your soul? I think actively spend time with people who will raise your feel good sensation is really important. Practice meditation. You have so many tools now that are available for people. You need to use them on a daily basis, not once in a while. But there's also things that you can put. So if you find it really hard to create the habit, you can start by something really small, like, for example, saying a positive mantra and just saying it over and over and over and over again. With the mantra and affirmation, sometimes there's a little bit of a dialogue, as in, is it useful? Is it not useful? If it serves you, then it is useful. If you feel that it doesn't serve you, then you move to another modality, another way of doing. But it's bringing all of those things in your life so that they create an ecosystem for yourself so that you can move forward and have a better mental health. So here, I created this, and I think it's really important to not only learn about new things or new modalities, but to say, okay, you know what, today I'm going to try this, tomorrow I'm going to try that, maybe this week or this month. So just have like a mental picture of this and think of what can you implement from today, from having listened to all of us in this event today. Okay, so how do we sustain the intention? So we can have this intention that we want to better our mental health, but how do we create all those little habits every day? You can start by stacking habits. So stacking habit is actually doing a habit on a normal habit you have. So for example, you brush your teeth every day. So as you're brushing your teeth, you can already think of, okay, the mantra that I'm going to have for today is going to be this mantra. You can think of another habit that you're doing on a daily basis and how you're going to stack it with this new habit you want to build on. Then there's visualizing. Visualizing does not work for everyone, but if it works for you, I think it's a really, really a great anchor to kind of make you think day in, day out of the best life you want to create for yourself. And then reward yourself. I think it's important to reward ourselves, because if we don't reward ourselves, who will? You have to start by rewarding yourself so that you can then reward others. And that's really important to kind of like motivate and keep this vibration high, if I can say it like that. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to share this with Ma, so you can use this worksheet to help you on a daily basis, or to have a reminder of what you can do with to keep the flow going. And if you want to know more, you can find me at www.authenticare.co.uk. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you.
You will. Thank you so, so much. I
Thank you
think
so much.
for all the presentation, you have done the one that is was more practical. Don't you think so, Anita? Isn't
Yes,
it?
I do. Yes.
She bring us with a very very specific tools, and that was the goal of our event. Thank you for that. I would like to center on one of the points that you highlighted, that is to cancel what doesn't feel aligned with yourself. You know? It's so difficult, that it's so important and so difficult. How do we face the challenge to move? It doesn't matter if voluntary. We are tied up to commitments, to people, to attitudes, if we like it or not. And when we rise, since we are very little, they tell us it doesn't matter if you don't like it, you eat that food, you know. So this go against, is this open our mindset. So I would love to listen to you explain a little more, if you think it's okay. Anita and Anisa, please.
Yes, yes, definitely. So I think what happens first is, where right now, and where do you be in a month's time, 6 months, years time. The idea at the vision, as soon as you're going to look at the present and you're going to look at the vision, you're going to see things that are maybe not aligned with that vision that you have for yourself. So what you can do is have an assessment, which is really simple. Having an assessment is basically a piece of paper, a pen, and going, oh, this I found difficult, this I'm not sure, this it doesn't really feel like I want to do it. I'm just forcing myself to do it. Or maybe that's a difficult conversation I don't want to have. Then after that, the idea is to first of all do the work within yourself. You don't have to do this work with other people. You don't have to go, I don't like the way you're treating me, so therefore I'm not going to talk to you. No, you don't have to go there. What you have to do, so is this something that I'm agreeing to? Is this something that is aligned with what I want, what I desire? If it is not, it means there is a problem. So I'm going to put this on side. And at the beginning, it will be hard. So um, I will say that it's something that it becomes a habit. I've told you the way I did it in my life. So when I was starting up with my life, I did an assessment on where I live, the school where my children go, work, what I like doing, it on every aspect of the circle of life, basically. So romantic relationship and everything. And then I started to create little steps. So it was really easy. Each week, I would do one thing that will take me a little bit more further to what it is that I'm looking for. And then by doing that, what happened? Two things happen. Either the things that don't serve you, they start to appear straight away. And then you're like, oh no, this is taking me off the path. This is not helping me. I don't think I can give it this time and the space because it's not going with my vision. And from doing that, little by little, I started to look at every aspect and doing one. So one thing I need to say to everybody, I'm a nurturer. So for me, it's really important to help people, to be of use of what often I've not been creating, for example, the relationship or the places that I work by.
We are having problems with your audio. Okay, let's wait a couple of minutes till it's settled. Anita, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, with that, the first thing I think of, because again, going within, to not do something that we don't want to do. That goes with Sharia when she said that creates that boundary. That says say no. Also, something can be as simplistic as feel your gut. Use your gut. Animals of the lowest degree, they do it all the time. They don't have to pay money to get back into their instinct and their intuition. When we get back into that what you feel, what do you feel, what are you experiencing when you're presented with something? Really take a moment to say, wait a minute, how do I feel? And then don't question it, just trust it. Just trust it.
Building trust in our society, one of the big challenge and that we need to take care. So the creating trust, and this is about G100, creating trust in people that we never met.
Right, but then creating trust in yourself, because once I can meet someone, and that thing you said, it was something about that person. Trust it. That's you're speaking with yourself. Your soul is speaking with you. There could be when I might be looking at Mars and say, oh, I really there's something about her. I really like her. Trust it. Trust it. And then because once we trust who we are and what we have, we don't have to question anybody else's motives because our soul is going to let us know what time of day it is.
It's always in terms of global networking, it's so important to get this level of trust. And you see that, and then I go to what Anita have said before about self-esteem, about love ourselves. When you love yourself, you are sure what you wanted to transmit is much easier to trust on people that you have never met. And you know, and you trust. Sorry, Anissa is having trouble. We are having a busy day, and we are trying to flow with the challenge today in this event. We are coming to an end. Patient, let's see if you wanted to make the final remarks, and your audio is better now. Please, patient, unmute, please. Yeah. No, is it getting worse? Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. I want to say really the same thing that Dr. Anista just said. You've got to go with your guts and really listen to yourself. And from you listening to yourself, you will see all the clues. Now is listening and acting upon those clues. Thank you so much, Ma, for giving the opportunity today.
As I told you before, you told me that before. This is global networking. The opportunity is there, and this is why we create the framework. Only that. Then the rest it goes by their own. We flow with the network. Anissa, your internet is better now. Are you in a position to say to listen to us? And
yeah, I'm listening, and I'm very happy that we have shared loads of valuable information tonight with the audience. Thank you.
Please, anything that you would like to add, tips that you have, something about your book. I
think we have said a lot. And we have given loads of information. So I don't overload people anymore. I just let them be with those information to digest.
No, you never. You see, this is part of our community. We have humble people like her. That's why they're so important. Her presence here. She don't want you to overload, and we are keen to listen to you. So I think I will suggest to end of only 2 or 3 minutes with your marvelous meditation, Anissa. What do you think?
Sure. I hope that maybe I just close the camera, but make sure that my internet doesn't drop, and we say afterwards goodbye, right?
Okay.
Fantastic. So after having this beautiful session with loads of information, inspiration, and personal story, maybe you like just to close your eyes. We close our eyes just to come back home, right? Just to come to the present moment. If you like to place your hands or your hands on your heart. And just to recognize your breath, just to follow it. Just to take awareness that your breath is there. Maybe you like to take time also to just relax your shoulder, your back, and take a connection with your feet, with the earth. Or maybe you like to bring one thing that you are grateful for in this moment, in your heart, and just think of it intensely. Maybe you're grateful because now you're in this community and you're just happy that you have taken that time for yourself. Maybe you're grateful for your health. Whatever that you're grateful for. And just let that sensation of being grateful and be joyful. Maybe we cannot be happy all the time because happiness is not available all the time. And what can be available is that gratefulness, that appreciation, which can boost our humor, our mood. And now maybe you like to open your eyes and thank you so much for being there, being with us, and see you also next time. I believe that next time we will talk also about
Thank you, Anisha.
mental health care. So have a nice evening. Have a blessed and peaceful evening.
Thank you, Anissa,
Thank you, Anissa.
for this.
Thank you for all of the beautiful stories and information that you shared.
Thank you for letting us flow on these minutes with ourselves, and flow and be, as Anita said, focus and project. Focus and project doesn't mean to be in the community and doing exactly the same as others and doing it. Search for your own self-improvement, as patients have said. They said, cannot cancel what doesn't feel aligned with yourself, but search for your self-improvement. Don't flow with the communities, don't flow with the societies are quite chaotic, so we need to flow with the self-improvement. Is the only guarantee to become better. And we are not going to end with my words because I'm not an expert on mental health care. I would just a humble moderator trying to do their best with these phenomenal women. And so please, Anita, I'm patient. I will leave you the last word that I hope is just the last of this event, and we could do one more of that, transmitting this energy that you could feel it on the body. Patient, Anita.
Patience, go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Annie. So, I think for me, if I could leave you on a thought today, it will be to be conscious of what you are doing on a daily basis. So before tomorrow, what I would like you to do tonight, as we're going into evening here in Europe, is that I would like you to think, what can I do tomorrow to serve myself better? That's all. What can I do tomorrow to serve myself better?
Thank you, patient. Anita.
Just real quickly, just recognizing that there is one energy, one love, and we are all connected, and no one is ever alone. And all we've got to do is reach out with each other and share and show love.
Thank you for that words, Anita. We live in a society where feeling alone is part of it. So if someone is alone but do not feel alone, it's something different. So we are here for that, for delivering that tools. This is the first edition. We hope to do more on the future. And Anissa, are you there? Could you hear us?
I'm here and I'm listening. Yes.
Yeah. Please, your last words, and we say goodbye.
I invite all the audience to come again to our live next month. Would you like to say also the date, Maria? Maybe then.
Yes, I think it would be good. It would be the same date. If it's 27, Monday 27 at the same time
Of March.
of March. Yes, next March.
So just see you then and take care and stay well.
Yeah. I hope Anita and Patient and also Shira will join us as well. And
I would love to.
Please do it, and please in this whole month, let's flow.
Yes.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Nisha. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.